Kevin here. How you folks doing today? Well, I'm doing pretty well. We got all the snow cleared out. I did another snow blowing again today, so I wasn't going to bore you with a repeat video showing that. But a few days ago I posted a video showing us getting wood from the woodshed out back near the sugar shack, bringing it in, and Joan asked a great question about, geez, what are you talking about with this chimney, this countercurrent heat exchange system with our energy efficient home? How does that work? So then I posted a video, I think it was 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. I'll put a link either up here or up there, I'm not sure where it does show up, about my answering that question. So I went through the design process. I went through a description of how the heat comes into the house, how we capture the heat at the peak of the ceiling, put it down through basically an attic fan system, put it into thermal mass and all. But you can review that video to make more sense. But Joan asked a follow-up question, and my nephew Jim also asked good questions. Joan, this summer I'll go over the cooling system. It's very similar to what I already talked about. But Joan also asked, was this some brilliant idea that I had? Well, actually, we built this house, and when I say we, I'm talking about my wife. My kids were still too small at that time. Well, they did help out some. But my brother Dave, it was in graduate school getting his engineering degree. This was all before I learned how to read. I didn't learn to read until I was 28. So no, I had no engineering background, didn't know any of this stuff at all. But my brother Dave came up with this design system, putting it through a thermal mass unit. And Dave, thanks so much if you ever watch this. Awesome. He kidded me about it. He says, well, this is a guinea pig test to see if it actually works. So no, I didn't come up with it, but I've recreated similar designs, and I've tweaked this system over the years as well. So when I first put into place, I use an AccuTemp. This was long before computers and all, to get temperatures in each different section of the building, and even out in the garage and the mudroom, so I could get some data and see how I wanted to deal with things and modify things. Then over time, I actually started learning more about biological influences. And I'll be going into more of my background in biology and ecology in future videos. And some of that's going to come out in my soil biology talks and my nutrition talks as well. So that's to come in the future. But Jim asked about, geez, what about this attic fan that we've got down below in the floor that I showed there? Does that run 24/7? Or do you have a thermocouple on it so it comes on at a certain temperature? Or do you have it set on a timer? Yes, I had it for all three systems. Attic fans typically do come with a little thermocouple that can switch on at a certain temperature and switch off at another temperature. When I first put the system in, I did it that way. However, I noticed that there were some odors that would come up when I would kick the system back on, especially if I had the thermal mass unit off some. And then I started taking moisture readings and humidity levels in various areas. Now, in all of these different areas, all over my property, we measure temperature 24/7 and humidity 24/7. And that's below ground, above ground, peak, near where the cobwebs are as well. And that has a lot to do with my thinking process about health. So this all comes down to our health, and that's my number one goal, health. Energy efficiency is number 2 or number 3. Health is number 1. So the house is a pretty tight house, but as I mentioned in that previous video, I have a doggy door that's open. Yeah, it's about this tall by this wide, big enough for a large Doberman or a Great Dane to get in and out of. And the cats are going in all the time. Our house is really sealed tight, but you saw in one video I showed the crack down there at the base of the French doors. I keep the mudroom door open all the time. And there's a poor seal between my garage and my mudroom. So air flows into the house constantly. Now I have two other outside ducts, 4-inch ducts, that come into the house as well, but I've got them closed off right now because the other systems allow me to bring in enough cool, fresh air, whether it's summertime or whether it's 20 below zero Fahrenheit. We're always bringing in the fresh air. Every living creature and every inanimate object has microorganisms all over the surface. And there's microorganisms in our air, all around us, surrounding us at all times. Kind of scary if you think about it, but for me, I think it's awesome. Now, with my medical background, I think about nosocomial infections. Those are those hospital-acquired infections. You go in because you got, we're in a car accident, and you come out with a deadly infection. And I'm not trying to knock the hospitals for it, but it has to do with the population of people in an environment. There's not the plants there, there isn't the good healthy soil there, there aren't all of those things going on. And we purposely create those environments within our house. And so by having 24 hours, 7 days a week, constant air exchange going to each one of these niches within our house, and it really is important to have that flow. I wish I could do a colorimetric image inside of our house so you could actually see how the flow goes. It's hard to detect because it's so slow. You actually have to take toilet tissue and hold it up near where the vents are, or hold something like a light tinsel to actually detect the flow. But you can detect it, and our house is so warm, but you don't notice it being so much because of the airflow. Now, many people around this part of the country, they're used to their temperatures in their house being around 68, 65 degrees. My wife has to wear a parka when she goes and does her Tai Chi. So it's different here. We're purposely designed this system so that we're having constant airflow, so that the microbes that are on all of the static components in our world, all around us, those ones that are airborne, are constantly moving and flowing through the system. The more healthy we are in our environment, the more that we continue to disseminate all of those good microbes throughout our environment. Well, I hope this wasn't too confusing, and I hope I answered both questions. So, no, I don't use thermocouples, and I'm going to go over more thoroughly how I'm designing the air exchange system in the greenhouse. Most of the people who are building greenhouses that have their loops in the ground, where they have a thermal mass unit underground, they don't keep their air flowing going 24/7. And therefore we get increases in populations because of decreased oxygen concentration in some of these moist environments, subterranean. And I don't think it's as healthy for the plants or for the people to work in. So having air flowing all the time, now most greenhouses will have horizontal airflow going through them. And now I'm starting to talk about this whole system. And I did mention before that sucking the air out gets better heat penetration through all of the thermal mass that you have in the design as well. But that's a future talk for us to have in the future. As I'm building the greenhouses, I can show you how I'm going to control it. And I'm going to have humidity and temperature sensors throughout the whole structure, down below, up above, and also we can control these environments and see how that impacts the health of the people in the environment, and certainly the health of the plants in the environment as well. So I hope this addressed both of those questions. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you think this was of value, and share it with your friends. Thanks so much, folks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.